12 games today in the NHL, and we are here on PuckTime to break down 3 of them, as well as best bets, props, and much, much more. Myself, Andrew McGinnis, Carmine Bianco, and Bryan Leonard here in 2025. Happy New Year to all of you guys. Hopefully we can start you guys off with some winners. And speaking of which, Carm, you are on quite the run, my friend. How are you?
Yeah. I'm like you. I'm trying to keep pace with you because you've been on fire as of late as well too. So I'm hoping you will get one of those little combo deals going, and we can get some viewers, some clients on our plays as well too. But doing good. New year to 2025. Plenty of NHL hockey to go. This is when the second half starts, Andrew. I'm looking forward to it. I see you're sporting the Team Canada jersey there, even though the USA beat them in the juniors. They may meet again come playoff time, but we'll see. We're going to talk Carolina Hurricanes, Florida Panthers, the Ottawa Senators, Dallas Stars. You're going to have your prop segment, and then we're going to finish it off with only fitting the Philadelphia Flyers in Vegas take on the Vegas Golden Knights. And I say only fitting because we have Bryan Leonard on here. Bryan, Happy New Year, my friend. Always good to have you on the show. How was your New Year?
It was good. The wife decided we're too old to go out, and so I got to stay home and watch some of the shows that I've been saving. And it worked out very well. I can say here on January 2nd, I have yet to lose a game in 2025. We swept the board 2-0 yesterday, but yeah, hockey's going great. It was last time I talked to Andrew, we were on the show, and he just started his hot streak. And I said, I haven't had a hot streak all year. And he says, it's coming. And it has. We won 9 straight going into today. And we've got a 2-game package up for clients today. So you can get both of them for only $25. So it's been a very good run in all sports, but especially in hockey as of late.
To hear it, Bryan. And we're all getting old, Bryan. I'm going to go to the first game and I go right back to you. But for New Year's Eve, you know what I did? I took my wife and the in-laws out for dinner. They're in their early 80s. Dude, we ate at 5:30. 5:30. That's like the Blue Plate special down in Florida.
That would be me. That would be my preferred time. Yeah.
I was home and in my pajamas by 7:30. I'm telling you that much. So and barely made it up to watch the ball drop. Apparently, in New York, they brought in Lazard because to activate the ball dropping because New York Jets, and it's what Joe, our producer, is going to mute me. So let me go to the first game. The Florida Panthers -125, Carolina Hurricanes +105. Total at 6 here, Bry. I'll go to you first for your thoughts on this one. I'm sure to upset a few people on this one, thinking that I've dipped into the eggnog. So I'll wait and let you go first.
Well, we got 2 of the best 5-on-5 expected goal teams doing battle in this one. The Hurricanes at 56%, while the Panthers are at 53.45. 2 teams that have been excellent all season long, and I expect a really good game here. Carolina has a net +10 goal advantage on the season, with Florida playing 1 more home contest. So Carolina's numbers a little bit better here, and I can certainly understand that. The Hurricanes are going to be playing 6 games in the next 9 days, including this Florida game tonight. They play Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and Toronto, so they've got a tough schedule coming up here, and I think they're going to want to grab this one before it all starts. You don't want to get behind the 8 ball. But Florida's playing its 4th of 5 at home as they host the Penguins tomorrow. And the Penguins are one of those teams that look great one night and terrible the next. So you never know what you're going to get. So 2 teams coming into this one where I think are going to show a lot of emotion. Florida swept at home earlier with these 2 in November, winning by a combined 12-3 score. So I'm assuming Carolina has this game scheduled or circled, I'm pretty confident they got the game scheduled, but the line is a bit cheap for the host here. But, Carolina has to have this game circled, as I mentioned. I expect this to be a physical contest. I'm going to play this game under. I'm going to play the under 6. They scored a total of 15 in the two earlier ones. I expect this one to go under the total. And it wouldn't surprise me if Carolina gets this victory, but I feel a little bit more confident on the under.
You know, Brian, I agree with you because you
Yeah.
look at the first two games, that's just an anomaly for what these two teams are going to bring to the table. I mean, look, they have talent offensively. We know Florida can score. We know the Hurricanes can score. And we know what that's changed a little bit for them this season as their offense. They've been a lot more, you know, they've kind of changed their style of play. They haven't protected leads as much as they did last year. I feel like they've kept their foot on the gas pedal. But at the same time, like you stated, these two teams playing earlier in the season and with the score lines, you know, 6-3, 6-0, some of these weird numbers I've seen. And, you know, the Florida Panthers here, they're one of those teams that needs kind of a wake-up call reality check every now and then. They won a handful of games in a row. And then you take a look at that reality check that they took where they lose against, of course, the Montreal Canadiens, and they were also shut out against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And what do I always say about these shutout angles? Well, it didn't work the first time for them after they lost to Tampa. Well, it definitely worked the second time. First period over, full game over. Oh, yeah, and the team that was shut out also won that. But I guess right now we can't really brag too much about that because they beat the Rangers, and the Rangers have proven to us that they aren't really much too special at this moment. You know, we often talk about home ice advantage and how much that matters. I do think in this particular matchup, it will matter. But at the same time, Carm, I like the fact that Carolina hasn't won a matchup in this meeting so far, as Brian talked about this game being circled. And we all know in the deep roots of who the Carolina Hurricanes are, as much as I prefer to play this type of angle at home with the last change, they are an under team. You know, they've scored some more goals this year. They've had some higher scoring games, but we know they're an under team. I lean towards the Canes side, but I do like the under much more, Carm. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, you guys have already talked about it, but it's those, it's the 6-3 home loss to Florida, and then going to Florida and getting embarrassed 6-0 there. We talk about like circling games. I don't think it's their, I don't think they actually have it circled in the dressing room, but these guys have memories. They know they've been embarrassed in back-to-back games by Florida, and this is one where maybe Brian's onto something here where the Canes go there and try and just grind out a win. And usually when you're grinding out wins, they're lower scoring affairs. But I'm leaning to Carolina. I'm just not getting I feel like I'm not getting the right price. I would like more than plus 105. But that's all we're going to get here. You look at Florida in their last three games, a couple of back-to-back shutouts where they lose 4-0. And then the game against against the Rangers, where we talked about on the show, and I said to take Florida on the puck line, -1.5, and it got there, but it got there very late. I think it was the 51st minute of the game, or 11 minutes into the 11.5 minutes into the third period, where Florida went ahead in that game 4-3, and then they got an empty netter with just a few seconds left to beat the Rangers. And that was a struggling Rangers team. This isn't a struggling Carolina team, but it's also a Carolina team that's lost 8 of 9 games on the road, and that one win came against the aforementioned New York Rangers at Madison Square Gardens. Carolina's got to be better on the road. If you're going to be a team that goes far in the playoffs, you've got to be better on the road. And 1-8, your last 9 road games, isn't playing well on the road. That said, and this is why I said you guys might think I've dipped into the eggnog early this morning, but I'm taking Carolina in this one. I think we see a strong performance from them, and they get the points. The last time they were down in Florida, or last year when they were down in Florida around this time, they went into for the Florida double. I think they lost the first game and then won the second game in Tampa. But that's not the case here. Tampa's on the West Coast, so from here, it's Minnesota for them next. Plus 105 for me, Andrew, is where I'm going to go on this one. Let's go to this next game. Dallas -185. Andrew, I'm going to go to you first on this one. -185. Ottawa plus 155. Total sits here at 6. How are you betting this one?
Well, Karma, I got to give credit to Ottawa because, first of all, they went on the run that they went on, and then they secured. Well, not secured, but then they captured, I should say, that wild card spot, which they haven't even been sitting in a wild card spot in years, and they have been sitting in that for about 2 weeks now. But then Allmark gets injured, and a lot of the times I was saying, look, I don't want any part of this Ottawa Senators team unless Linus Allmark is the goaltender for them. And, well, they've had some shaky starts, but then they had some good starts as well with mixing in some of their backup goaltenders in there. But this is a type of scenario here, guys, where, I look at the schedule that we've seen from the Dallas Stars, some of the games they've been able to play recently, right? Like if they get that low-scoring victory over the Utah Hockey Club, they get a victory over the Chicago Blackhawks, they beat the Buffalo Sabres, and now here we have with this Ottawa Senators team. And again, I know Ottawa has made some strides. I know they have definitely taken that step up, and they're not that bottom feeder anymore. I'm not going to be here and say that, guys. But at the end of the day, this has still been a very advantageous schedule for the Dallas Stars. And you've got an Ottawa Senators team, albeit they're going to be rested here in this one a couple days. And, that successful win over the Minnesota Wild, I still don't really want to look at this Ottawa team without Allmark in net. And I know they had some good starts, and I know they've had one of their backups play pretty well. But this is going to be a team total spot for me here. I mean, a large scale, when I fade this Ottawa team, I like looking at team totals. We're going from a minus 200 price to a plus 105 price for Dallas to reach the 4-goal mark. And I get it. You take a look right now. We don't have a confirmed goalie here for Ottawa. And I'll tell you guys, you don't always hear me talking about goaltenders and starting goalies. This does matter here. But if it is Sogard in net, I'm going to be looking towards the Dallas side here. This Dallas team, whenever they win, especially against teams that are either non-playoff or right on that wild card spot, they usually win with scoring 4 or more goals. So I think some teams are the type of team to take certain teams lightly. And what we've seen out of the Dallas Stars, they're not one of those teams. They're kind of like the Tampa Bay Lightning. No matter who they're playing, they're dialed in for that particular game. And that's why I think Dallas gets to 4 here. I think we get rid of that minus price, get the plus 105. This road trip is going to tell us a lot about this Ottawa Senators team, guys. And so far, not too bad for them, but I'm not really confident with how they're going to fare in this one against the Dallas Stars. So what do you think here, Bri?
Yeah, you mentioned it. Ottawa's a team playing much better now than they were earlier in the season. 5-on-5 play, expected goals, they're now at 52.44%, where Dallas comes in at 53.19. And, Dallas has got a plus 18 net scoring advantage between the two, but they played 3 more home games. So the Senators are playing their 7th road game of a 9-game road trip. And you mentioned the scheduling. They've won 4 of 6, and the losses came at Edmonton and at Winnipeg. Nothing to be ashamed of. They do play St. Louis tomorrow, so something to keep in mind. If they do fall behind in this one, they may play some lesser players for more shifts in the third period. But Dallas is in the middle of playing 10 of 12 games at home, so the scheduling advantage is clearly on Dallas, which I believe is why the line has moved up a little bit here. But I want to be on Ottawa. The team's playing well, and in this price range, what I'm looking for is to play Ottawa plus 170. Now, right now, the number is plus 160 is the best I could see out there on the WagerTalk line service. So we've got a while before we could seriously get interested in Ottawa. But if they do go to that backup goaltender, I would expect us to be able to get that number. So Ottawa's just playing too well for me to not try to get a piece of them at some point here. Dallas just hasn't been the same this year. They've known that they're going to be one of these teams that's going to the playoffs, so they're more resting for that and pointing towards that. But I've gone against Dallas, which is normally one of the best home ice in the NHL, and I faded them a couple times with success. So it's not the same Dallas team right now. It probably will be by the end of the season. But right now, if I can get another 10 cents here with Ottawa, I think I'm going to be on that side.
Yeah, and definitely the reason why I'm looking towards trying to find some plus money, at least with the team total, because I wouldn't be laying that number with the Stars. Carm, obviously a good road trip so far, so good for this Ottawa team. I'm not sure I'm buying it without Allmark. I'm giving them the respect because this team has taken that stride, obviously, in the Atlantic Division. But how do you feel here?
I get it with the Allmark thing because he's the last line of defense for the team. But in front of him and in front of the other goalies, they've been playing well. Not only on this road trip, but over their last 11 or 12 games. Where Marilanian was in goal against the Edmonton Oilers. They lose that game, I think, 3-1. Again in goal against Minnesota. They win that game 3-1. They're playing well in front of them. In Ottawa, you look at their last 12 games, and sometimes I just let the numbers lead me to a play. 8-1-3 to the under their last 12 games, and that's because they're playing better defense. When you play better defense, you win games. They're going to have to play good. This is only the second game, actually the second start, but the third game for Mad Sogard in goal, who happens to be one of the tallest goalies in the NHL, by the way, at 6'7". You look at the Dallas Stars, 6-1-2 to the under their last 9 games as well too. So neither of these teams are playing these high-scoring games as of now. The only Dallas game that went over the total was that 5-3 game at home against the Leafs, which ironically everybody was on Dallas in that game, and the Leafs went in there and won that game. I think because of the injuries to Toronto and their goaltending, and into that one under 6 for me in this one. It is one that if Allmark was in goal, it would be a 5.5. I'm sure, and I'm looking at the WagerTalk live lines, and I see 6s across the board, with the exception of DK. DK has a 5.5. So, and that I think that just changed to 5.5. So maybe we'll start to see a couple other 5.5s. I would take the 6 now if you're going to take the under. So under 6 for me in this one, Andrew. And with that said, I need some winning props from you, buddy. So fire away. I'm waiting.
Let's get back on track with the prop playbook here, guys. Before I jump into it, the current special right now at wagertalk.com. You buy a 90-day all-access package. We're going to throw in a 30-day month play all plays for free, no added cost. Get that 90-day special. We're going to throw in 30 days for free. Right now, it's a great time to join me. 7-2 last 9 all sports, number 2 NHL handicapper at the website. And we are on a 19-4 NHL run with 3 plays up for tonight so far. Let's start things off with Kirill Marchenko from the Columbus Blue Jackets. And look, guys, this certainly hasn't been a player everyone's talking about these days. And probably the reason being is because of the team he plays on. But when I look at this guy, his price, it's kind of hefty, minus 160. He's gone over this 2.5 number in 9 of his last 10 games. If he played on a solid team or a better team, I feel like you'd probably see a 3.5 already for his shots on goal number. Bet this guy today against Detroit. I feel like this is the play here. This is a guy you want to be looking at moving forward, especially until his number moves to 3.5 shots on goal. All right, the next one we're going to look at is William Nylander over 2.5 shots on goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the New York Islanders. And here's the deal, guys. This is the kind of spot where you talk about a home and home, right? I mean, it's not like it was a back-to-back, but it's still home and home. They play one game in Toronto, one game in New York. And when you look at the first game, it was rather low scoring at the start, and then it started to catch fire. Those afternoon games in Toronto don't usually have a lot of goals. It took some time for the energy to get in that building. Well, Austin Matthews is still out, and that means somebody else has to be the shooter. And the books have not adjusted. Over 2.5 shots on goal for William Nylander is my play in that game. And the last one, we got to throw an under in here, guys. Alexander Ovechkin, under 3.5 shots on goal. He has gone under in 3 of his last 4 games. He has not been shooting a ton since his return, and he's playing a very good defensive team, being the Minnesota Wild. So we'll go Alexander Ovechkin, under 3.5 shots on goal. He can still score goals without getting 4 shots, and right now his shot attempts are very low, under 3.5 for Ovi. Back to you, Carm.
I like it, Andrew. So just answering a couple of questions in there. Let's get some winners, man. We really need them. Start 2025 off on a big run. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to talk we're going to talk Philadelphia and Vegas, and no better person to go to first on this one than Brian Leonard on this one. Brian, minus 200 on the Vegas Golden Knights tonight, plus 170 on Philly. The total's sitting here at 6.5, shaded 15 cents to the under. Vegas coming off a shock defeat. And I say it's a shock defeat, not because it was Montreal, because I know Andrew will get on me for the whole Montreal thing. But the
They're
fact that
playing
they blew
well.
a 2-0 lead, blew a 2-0 lead in that game after one period of play, that's something that the Golden Knights don't do very often. And I think if I had Ralph Michaels run a report on how many times the Vegas Golden Knights have blown a 2-0 lead at home after 20 minutes, there would be very few, if any, losses on that search. Thoughts on this one?
In 5-on-5 expected goal percentage, the Flyers have really jumped up as of late. They've been a lot like Ottawa in that regard. They're now at 53.15% on the season, while Vegas sits below 50% at 49.43%. Philadelphia is one of those teams that I think has a lot of value right now. They're playing pretty well, but they're not getting a lot of victories. I think it's because they're playing some tough schedules. But, the Golden Knights have a whopping plus 46 season goal advantage between the two, with Vegas playing 2 less road games than the Flyers. Philadelphia's in the middle of a 6-game road trip. They split the first 4 contests. They won over Anaheim and San Jose by a combined 7-1 margin, while losing at Pittsburgh and Los Angeles by a combined 12-7 margin. January starts very tough for the visitor. They face Vegas, Toronto twice, and Dallas on the upcoming schedule. So it's very tough for Philadelphia. We'll see how they do stepping up in class here. Hopefully they'll do a little bit better than what they did against Pittsburgh and Los Angeles. The Golden Knights have won 6 straight games against conference opponents. So we faded them last time out versus the non-conference Canadiens. To me, it was a clear letdown spot for the host. Vegas had a 2-0 lead, as you mentioned, most of that game, but allowed 3 straight Montreal goals. Vegas is in the midst of a 4-game homestand, with Buffalo playing here on Saturday. The Knights beat the Flyers on the road in the shootout in November, but unfortunately, this line is basically where I made it, minus 200 on Vegas. You wouldn't expect them to have back-to-back games where they blow a lead, but that Montreal team has been playing really well as of late. And I just love it when you get teams that have a losing history and they start winning. It takes so much longer for the lines maker and the betting public to keep up. So right now we're seeing Ottawa and Philadelphia, 2 teams playing much better than what they had previously, on a nice run here, and you're getting them both at pretty good underdog prices. It would not surprise me if one of these two gets that victory tonight, and you could make some money just by splitting a couple of big underdogs.
Definitely, Brian. And for me, I just want to look towards the under here. We talked about an under earlier in the show that you and I were on the same page with. And I think that, as Carm talked about when he led into the game about Vegas giving up that lead against Montreal, especially with kind of some of the chances that they had earlier in that game. Look, obviously, as a fan, I was excited. And for even the Montreal Canadiens, whenever they've gone down even 2 or 3 goals in games this season, it seems like they've almost folded over and kind of just accepted their fate. But now they've kind of done a better job of coming back. That being said, I don't think Vegas still played too poor of a game. And this is the thing, is that I know they're going to bounce back in a defensive manner. And I'm kind of shocked to hear myself say this, but 5-on-5, the month of December, my numbers have Philadelphia as the number 1 expected goal against team. So they're playing some good defense. They're not really giving up that many chances whatsoever. And I keep looking over and double checking at my pages here with the WagerTalk live odds. 6.5 is the number we're getting. Look, I know Vegas is one of the top dogs in the league, but I think this is going to be a defensive battle between these 2 teams. And I think this one could stay under 6.5. I love that we're getting 6 in the hook here. I think, Vegas is a kind of team that, sure, they can run the score up on teams, but they also like to get a lead and protect it. And as Brian said, Philadelphia, they're playing some pretty good hockey right now themselves. So Carm, 2 unders for me today on the show. I like this one quite a bit, and I'll tell you, I was a bit shocked to find out Philadelphia is so high up. Not only high up, number 1 team expected goals against in the month of December, 5-on-5. So they're playing some pretty good defense for John Tortorella right now.
Yeah, they are. They always play for Torts, man. And if they don't play for Torts, he sticks you in the box and makes you a healthy scratch. That's why I like him as a coach. Andrew, I think the last show we did, the show best bet was Vegas -1.5 for me, plus 105 or plus 110 against the Montreal Canadiens, and that looked good after 20 minutes. I'm going to the well one more time on the puck line, and it's just because, as I mentioned on that show, as I'll mention once again, the Vegas Golden Knights have the best record against the spread this season, whether they are -1.5 or plus 1.5. They are 24-13 now, plus 14.2 units or 26.94 ROI. The Washington Capitals have the exact same record, 24-13 versus the spread, but lower units at 12.35 and 22.43 ROI. So I'm going with the numbers on this one. Sometimes, like I said, I let the numbers lead me to a play. If it doesn't work out and they lose 2 straight, I'll stay off of it. But off a loss in that game at home against Montreal Canadiens, you know they're going to want to throw in a complete 60-minute effort in this one. So I'm taking them on the puck line in this one tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers.
All right, so that's a real mixed bag. I mean, we want to talk about 3 different answers for this game. We got an underdog, we got a puck line, and we got an under in this one. So a little bit of everything for us as far as the panel is concerned in this one in Sin City, Philadelphia, and Vegas going head-to-head here. As mentioned, guys, 12 games on tap in the NHL for today. But those were just 3 games that we wanted to break down. We're going to have some best bets with some different games mentioned as well for you guys here in a few moments. But just want to thank everybody for tuning in here and remind you to please hit the like button for us. It really helps both of us out, well, all 3 of us out here on PuckTime. Lets us know that you guys are appreciating it. And comment to let us know what your guys' winners are for tonight, what your picks are, props, sides, totals. We want to hear from you guys, so let us know. And let us know also any future bets you're looking at for 2025 in the NHL. All right, Carm, there's that great deal going right now. The buy 90 days, throw in a month at absolutely no cost. You're on a heater right now in the NHL, man. What do you have up for grabs?
Yeah, only one play up in the NHL. I've combed through this card, and I posted this one last night for my clients because I wanted to get it out to them early. It is a 4%, 4% best bet for me. We closed off 2024 on a very good run, 12-4-1 run to end, and a couple winners on the final day on New Year's Eve. A little bit of help, but it doesn't matter. As Brian Leonard says, when you get the puck luck on your side, it's always a good thing. That deal is a great one, guys. It's gonna basically get you to what at the end of April, which covers the NHL season, covers the rest of the NFL playoffs. For me, it also covers things like European Soccer Champions League. There's a ton of actions still left. You're going to have 4 months for the price of 3. It is a great deal. Head over to WagerTalk to take advantage of that one. And the one play that I have up for today. Andrew, my best bet, I'm going to go. I said sometimes the numbers lead you. And I talked on our last show about the Calgary Flames. And when they're at home, Dustin Wolf at home has been very good. I took them in their last game. He is now 10-1-1 at home with a 197 goals against average, 937 save percentage. He is trending to be the goalie the starting goalie tonight as well too. If he is, because I'm seeing a little bit of Calgary money coming in, -110. That's going to be the play for me. Calgary -110 tonight at home against a Utah team that is struggling to score some goals right now. 6 goals across their last 4 games, all losses, 5 straight losses for this team as well too. Give me the Calgary Flames, who are playing some pretty good hockey right now, 6-2-2, their last 10 at home. Calgary -110, and I'll send it over to Brian. What do you got up at Wager Talk? And give us a show best bet.
Yeah, first off, I'd like to agree with Andrew on the under in that Vegas game. I was kind of surprised it's a 6.5. Not only the circumstances, but both goalies have been playing lights out for Vegas. Defenses have been strong. So that's just a little extra opinion on that one. 9 straight winners in the NHL. And as people have bought my plays in the past, I'm not afraid to play big underdogs. And we have caught a few of those as well. So 9 straight winners tonight. 2 plays up. I've got them in a package. I said $25. I believe it's $29. And you can get both plays on tonight's card. Hopefully we got win numbers 10 and 11 on that. Number 1 the last 3 days, number 1 the last 7 days, number 3 the last 30. And obviously we've talked many times in the past about the history in the NHL. It's worked out very well for us. From a best bet standpoint, I'm going to go back to the game we discussed originally, the Carolina-Florida game. I'm going to play that game under 6. As I mentioned, they played a back-to-back to end November, and there was a combined 12-3 score in that one, both for Florida. So I think Carolina needs to come out here and really clamp down the defense against Florida here. The numbers show they're a slightly better team, even when you take a look at the goal advantage on the season, as well as the expected goals. 56% is awesome for Carolina, 53.45 for Florida. I'm going to take this game under. It's something that Carolina needs. They need to get that victory. If I'm Carolina, I don't want to be 0-3 against Florida and then have to meet them in the playoffs. And you know how all that goes. It gets in your heads. This is a must-win game for Carolina, and I think they do that defensively. Give me the under as my best bet.
Well, Brian, I just got to say, what a run, man. What a run. I don't know what's going on right now, but it seems like everybody that bets hockey at WagerTalk is just rolling right now, getting on a run. But 9 straight winners, Brian. Good luck tonight. Keep it going. That 9th one, 10th one. Just get Marco. Honestly, someone's got to get Marco's streak, and just
25.
one at a time. Just keep rolling them out one at a time. 3 of us are on a really great streak. And again, guys, that great deal right now. Free month with a purchase of a 90-day special. You got to love that. We have all kinds of good deals going on at WagerTalk every single week. But this is a good one if you're interested in kind of a semi-long-term approach here with a capper of your choice. 7-2 last 7 days for me in the NHL. But we're on a 19-4 NHL run. At the very least, it will be a 3-pack of plays for me in the NHL tonight. We're not shying away. I like this card quite a bit. Last time I had a 3-pack, we went 3-0. We swept the board. Really looking forward to cashing some tickets. So, guys, join me. 7-day, 30-day, or 90-day. Get 30 days for free, or just buy that package for tonight. But today's free play is going to be plus 105, 2% client play. We're going with the Vancouver Canucks on the money line here. Look, I've had people message me questioning, not understanding why I would take the Canucks without Quinn Hughes, without the potential of Elias Pettersson, without Philip Roenick. And my answer back to them every time was, that is why the Vancouver Canucks are plus 105. If those guys weren't out there, we're out there, that number is not plus 105. And to me, I still think we're getting a bargain. I still think Vancouver is a very talented team without those players, despite how many minutes they play. I fully do understand that. This is a rapid revenge spot, as 2 games ago, Vancouver had a 3-1 lead on Seattle, and they lost that game 5-4. They will not forget about that one. They scored just 1 goal in their last game against Calgary. They're going to be desperate and motivated in this outing against Seattle, and I am backing them tonight with 2% of my bankroll at plus 105. All right, guys, you can find all 3 of us at WagerTalk.com, and WagerTalk today is coming up at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on PuckTime.